Hang in
Dude,
there.
that's Smylie Kaufman for 61. Wow.
I'm Smylie Kaufman, and this is The Smylie Show.
Congrats on your one and done win this week. You and I both.
Did we? Yes.
We took Scottie.
We took Scottie.
If Scottie's playing in the fall, I'm taking him. So congrats to you and I.
There you go. We did it. It is, by the way, a little intrigue on that point. Scottie's 6th win of the season. So I think before the year, I think you said 4.
I went back to listen to it because I thought I nailed it. I thought I said he'd win 3 times in 2 majors, and I said 2 times in 2 majors. So the over-under I set on the year was 4.5 for us at the beginning of the year, and I ended up taking the under. And you took the over, and not only did you take the over, you tried to parlay it into an alternate line.
Okay, I said 9 and or 10. I said somewhere in that range, and he's at 6 this year. And I think we would give him the century if he hadn't cut his hand. So now he's at 7.
Oh, now we're just giving him events.
And then if you go on the PGA Tour profile, it's going to list, if they win the Ryder Cup, that's going to be listed as a win, and he's going to win the Hero. So I think there's a world in which my prediction was pretty on the money. I'm just saying. I had to bring that to your attention.
It was a tough scene when we finished that West Coast swing, and we start to think about how many events Scottie Scheffler plays in a calendar year. And I was sitting pretty, with the 2 majors and 2 wins. I'm thinking, hey, if it gets hot, this looks pretty good. Meanwhile, Charlie needed Scottie to go full Tiger 2000 mode, and not only that, he needed the Xbox or the PlayStation, whatever game you played with Tiger.
Yeah,
and you needed
control
to
the spin in the air.
You needed to control the spin.
Yeah.
You needed to boost all of his skills as well to be able to try to chase that number you were looking for.
It is pretty stunning that 2 of his wins this year are at the CJ Cup, Byron Nelson at the Procore Championship. Events that I guess CJ Cup is close to home, but that's a pretty. Just throw some new ones on the calendar. I don't think definitely would not have played this event if it wasn't a Keegan orchestrated Ryder Cup type of thing. And here he is.
No chance. Yeah. I think reading a lot of the pressers this week from the guys, there was a lot of tired puppy dogs that were napping this week. I think a lot of players kind of were just still probably exhausted, and this was probably good for them to show up to play a golf tournament. Yeah. I think a lot of these players would have still had their clubs still in their club glove in their garage and not even have touched their clubs till October.
Yeah, I think, and we're going to talk a little bit about some unique prep happening on the European side. But I think the way that both of these events have become a tune-up of sorts for each individual team, I kind of love it. It's a fun way to see these guys knock some rust off, and then on the American side, I don't think it gets any better than your number one player on that team undoubtedly winning the tournament, and then a guy who doesn't have a ton of experience taking it down to the wire. I think the missed putt at the 18th, obviously there's going to be some talking about that. There already has been on Golf Channel, the post-game sort of recap. But I think this worked in terms of what Keegan was trying to achieve and preparing this team for Bethpage.
I kind of want to know what the vibes were of if they're all staying in one house or they're staying in separate houses. You imagine that there was somewhat of a community where the guys were gathering at night, or at least let's just think that they were, right. Let's say we have team dinners like you're talking about. Everybody's going to hang out after. What is the vibe? Are guys talking about winning the golf tournament? Are they talking about the Ryder Cup? Is Ben Griffin really quietly staring at Scottie Scheffler and not blinking for the entire evening? And hey, I'm not going to lose to you tomorrow. What is the vibe like? What do you think?
It's so interesting because I felt like, and this is just someone who's watching the broadcast on the TV on Sunday, but Scottie was dead set on winning this tournament. And that's not a shocker to any of us who've watched Scottie Scheffler play golf and know how competitive he is. But it felt like when we kind of got down the stretch, this wasn't just a Ryder Cup tune-up anymore. This became, everyone was very, very serious about winning this tournament. And the question you're asking, I'd be curious to see how that spilled over into the camp. But I think the competition between these guys is only going to help kind of stoke the fire. If you're talking about guys that needed this week, to your point, guys that are a little sleepy, knocking off the rust, they kind of shut it down since the Tour Championship at Eastlake, feeling that feeling of being in contention can only help get the mind in the right place for 2 weeks when you show up and you're ready to go. You know, I mean, it's just nice to kind of kickstart it a little bit, I think.
I think so. And you see a lot of guys at the top of the leaderboard and guys that have been playing well all year. You know, Ben Griffin, this was just a validation week for him. You know, if you watched the golf tournament or if you didn't, I caught very little of Sunday because I was flying over here to DC, got something here tomorrow. So I really didn't get to catch much of the Sunday golf. All I saw was the 18th hole. Saw that Ben Griffin 3-putted. Obviously, that's unfortunate, but still, Ben Griffin, dude, man, it's just the belief that this kid has and the amount of confidence and just the I guess too, the one thing I wanted to look up and I didn't know how to look it up, but this entire year, I wanted to know just where his average was of where he ranked inside the top, whatever in the field throughout a golf tournament. Ben Griffin hardly was ever outside of the top 25. Let's say after the first round, I feel like he never, ever was outside the top 25. He's a player that consistently was on the first or second page of the leaderboard. He hardly ever played bad rounds this year, and he was close to being in really elite company with being the third guy to win 3+ times this year with Scottie and Rory. I mean, JJ Spawn, obviously incredible year, Tommy Fleetwood too, but I mean, Ben Griffin is right up there too with having a just one incredible year.
Oh, undoubtedly. And I think this is kind of, there were some people that were asking about his pick, his inclusion on this team, you know, is one of the guys that maybe take Keegan instead and have him play. And I think this is a nice response to the 100% it is. Smylie, we're by virtue of this conversation, it's leading us into getting into the spirit of the cup. Thanks to our friends at Johnny Walker. So Smylie, we've talked about this on the show before, the Spirit of the Cup tour. Brought to you by Johnny Walker. It basically sounds like a giant Ryder Cup party with golf activities that is happening in New York City the week of the Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black on the streets around New York City from Wednesday, September 24th through Sunday, September 28th. It's an experience that is open to the public, which is amazing. You don't have to have, you know, a ticket or anything. You just chip your way to glory while sipping signature Johnny Walker cocktails. And they have merch out now as well. Capsule with Devereaux featuring polos, hats, t-shirts, cardigans, and a crossbody bag. And then here's the coolest part about it to me, Smylie, is that as part of Johnny Walker's commitment to progress, proceeds from this whole Spirit of the Cup merch and cocktail kit, all the sales there are going to benefit Fairways to Leadership, a national nonprofit dedicated to advancing access to leaders and leadership opportunities through golf literacy to build the next generation of diverse leaders, one fairway at a time. So how about that, buddy? Yeah, Johnny Walker, Spirit of the Cup, man. We're getting the Spirit of the Cup here.
Yeah, well, New York, right around the corner. Just crazy how fast this Ryder Cup is sneaking up on us now. Especially with seeing the DP World Tour guys too. They were boarding a flight, going to do a scouting trip. I believe they're going to be playing Bethpage the next couple of days. I don't know if U.S. is doing a scouting trip. That's actually interesting to me. I doubt they're doing one. Oh, yeah, there you go.
There's my.
I was looking while we're
here. While we're doing it, yeah.
But with Europe, they're flying. They finished this DP World Tour event, all flying over, doing a scouting trip. And so I think U.S. guys going all the way to the West Coast. I'll be interested to hear if they actually do make a scouting trip. Part of me thinks that they're not, and that they'll just get there on Monday and just kind of play 9 holes every day, just not wear themselves out. But interesting to hear about it.
Yeah, I mean, interesting to think about, like, what sort of access maybe those guys have had to Bethpage in the lead up. You know, I'm sure a lot of those guys have made their own individual scouting trips, you know, and maybe more accessible for those guys. But the Europeans, on the European preparation side, something that greatly interested both of us. This is after the conclusion of the Rory McIlroy's round on Sunday at the BMW PGA Championship. He revealed that Luke Donald gave VR headsets to the team on Tuesday earlier this week. And here's a quote from Rory. "It is just to simulate the sights and sounds and noise. That's the stuff that we are going to have to deal with. So it's better to try to desensitize yourself as much as possible before you get in there. You can get them to say whatever you want them to say, so you can go as close to the bone as you'd like." I have so many questions.
Aaron Rodgers, 2-year stint with the Jets that he'll never want to remember when he goes into the Hall of Fame. He'll just say, please don't mention that. Now he's with Pittsburgh, and he had his best game since Green Bay. Threw 5 touchdowns. Is it 5, right? Am I right about that, Sam? I don't want to screw this up, too. 4 touchdown passes. Yeah, I've screwed up again. 4 touchdown passes against the New York Jets. Buy or sell, Aaron Rodgers will finish the season as a QB1 in a 12-team league, top 12 fantasy quarterback. Buy or sell.
You know, the cop out here is he stays healthy, yes, right? He'll do it. They're not asking a lot, top 12. Purdy's already not going to be top 12, right? He's already going to miss this week, probably another week, maybe as much as 5, they've said. So you knock him out there. There'll be other quarterbacks that get hurt, so you knock them out. I don't think he'd ever get top 5, top 6, top 8. But the 9 to 12, I hate to say it, he wasn't bad last year with the Jets, right? They didn't win games, but he wasn't bad. He had it when he played. He was a good, solid quarterback. You know, he can still sling it. He still can. I'm the first to admit those 4 touchdowns. It wasn't like he had a monster game. A couple of his interceptions were dropped. You know, that should have been picked off there. It seems like he did complete work for touchdowns. A couple of breakdowns by the Jets as well. So I don't see him really as going to win a league for you. But I'm going to buy this if he stays healthy. Hell, just give me 15 games, and I think he can be top 12. So I'll buy this.
I'm going to sell it. Yeah, I mean, games against the Browns and games against the Ravens. And look, I don't know if the Jets defense is as bad as they've showed. If it is, then this may be his best game of the season. So, yeah, I'm going to sell. I think he's on the outside of this looking in.
Fantasy Sports Today. Fridays starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. Only on SportsGrid.
Are we generating AI insults, or is there someone hired to like provide a menu of insults for Europeans? And you know, can we do like a New York accent? Is it a Boston accent? Like, how are they inputting insults into this VR experience that Luke Donald's created for his team? I need to know so much more about this.
Do you know how much fun it would be to be on this VR team that had the design process of Bethpage, and then hold on, Luke Donald sends an email. It's like, hey, do you guys mind sending about 10 to 15, whether it be slurs or if it's something that might upset a certain player? Do you mind just inserting that into the software and just have it kind of randomly play? Can you imagine being on that team, being able to write those, whatever it is, the scripts, or be able to plug it in, and all of a sudden you got a guy shotgunning a beer and literally like virtually getting hit by a beer can, whatever it may be. It's
that's great.
The options are endless. But the New York accent's a good call. Maybe getting hit by a pizza, like that's
a
little slice of pizza.
I need to know the full menu of options, like how far Luke Donald took it, where he's in development with this company. He was like, listen, these are the things that I think they're going to do. So like if it's a pizza, getting hit with a beer can, here's the insults they're going to use. And can you adjust on the fly? To Rory's point, you say, hey, that was pretty weak. Like give me a better, an insult specific to a certain region. I need to know everything about this program. I love this so much. I think it's hilarious.
Have you ever done like VR golf? Is that something?
Never.
Is it like Wii golf? Is that kind of how it works?
I guess it's like, I've actually never even used a VR headset. Have you used a VR headset ever?
Yes, I've had one, and you end up having to get something other than like an Apple phone. So you had to go and get I don't know if it's like a BlackBerry, Android, or whatever it is. And so I had gotten one as like a tea gift for one of the events I played in. I'm like, well, crap, I got one of these things. I want to use it. So we did, and it was pretty cool to cruise around that thing, but we didn't do anything golf related on it. The thing I loved to get on was getting into a tank with sharks around, and it was the most wild thing ever, that I would just be turning around. Next thing you know, there was like a shark attacking me. And then the other one too. Yes, very much real. Like it was a problem. I'm a very jumpy person when it comes to getting scared. And so they have also these haunted houses that you can do. And so the haunted mansions were really fun to virtually walk through.
Yeah.
But still those were dicey too. I hated that.
I mean, I feel like this is so. As someone who's never used a VR headset, and I've seen digital recreations on YouTube of people playing golf in a VR world, but obviously I'm not getting the full experience they are because they're they have that's the whole point of the headset. So I mean, I don't know. I think I've actually seen Rory with some affiliation to a VR company, so I'm sure he's played VR golf, maybe as part of this whole thing with getting Luke Donald set up with whoever built this program. Like assuming it's a standalone program, because I don't know anything about this thing. It's amazing. But I guess, I don't know. I just don't know how you go about, I get back to the same place, which is like, I have so many questions. Like are you actually playing around? Or are you partnered with is there a virtual Shane Lowry in there? Is he like giving you words of encouragement?
I think I
need to know everything about
I think it's for the guys who haven't seen the golf course to get a sense of what the place looks like. So just starting to imagine what these holes are going to look like before you get there. So that's step one. I would say the other part of it, at least from actually a productive standpoint, you would think that Luke would try to, if it's a noise thing, after you hit a shot, they just crank in sound noise like you're playing in what y'all's kiddie football stadium called?
Keenan Memorial Stadium. Thank you for bringing that up. It's rocking this week.
Yeah, it was rocking this week.
It's rocking for the Richmond game. Yeah, big one.
So y'all have to crank in sound for y'all's game. So
sure. Of course.
So the sound crank in. Maybe that's what's these guys are hearing after they hit their VR shots. I don't know. But those would be the two things I would think of. It's like, what do the holes look like? And
okay, fair.
Can we maybe get, after you hit a golf shot, if you hit a bad shot, having somebody say you suck after? I don't know.
I've used, PGA 2K to scout courses I'm playing in the future before. So that's not a foreign concept to me, but I just, and that's I can't even
totally, and that's totally understandable. I don't think anybody and their mother would say that's a weird thing to do. I think a lot of fellas have probably done that before. If not that, they've gone to YouTube and seen every single hole before a trip they've gone on.
What's the over under on the number of players on this team that are actually going to use this thing and or maybe need technological help from somebody else?
I'm picturing every single one of these guys on the flight from London over to New York. Everybody's got it on. Yeah, everybody's got it on.
I feel like I see Tyrrell Hatton trying to use this thing, getting very frustrated and breaking it.
I see them warming up with it on Friday morning. Everybody in the range with it.
That'd be.
We're not hitting balls. We're just going straight VR.
Yeah, that's right. They're like, are you working on your sight lines? Like, no, I'm just listening to insults right now. I'm seeing the fans. I'm seeing all the great people of New York, and they're bringing it right now. This is good.
Knicks fans, man, they're crazy.
Let's just. I think this is the way we discussed and kind of just mowing through both events this week is like, let's do this in chronological order. Let's do some quick hitters on every player that played this weekend that is going to play for either the European or American side in the Ryder Cup. So we will start with the BMW PGA Championship at Wentworth. And by the way, shout out to Alex Noren, won this thing in a playoff. He's won 2 of his 3 DP World Tour starts the past month. So Alex Noren playing good golf.
He's so good at golf. I've told you this before. His short game is it's unbelievable. His chipping, bunkering, guys. I just remember watching him at Memorial last year. Xander Schauffele just following him around, just asking him questions on how he was doing it. He's a wizard. Yeah. So when I saw he had to get up and down at 18 to win in that playoff, which by the way, if you had a chance to watch any of that, I had no idea what Adrian or Alex were trying to do going for the green there in that situation. But Alex got a good lie. It was fairly easy up and down. He was never not getting that up and down. So yeah, to your point, he's had a really good year, dude. Really good year. He's had 4 top 10s in his last 5 starts. I actually felt like Alex Noren was a dark horse player to make this team. And that around that same time is when I realized that Rasmus might make it on points. And Marcus Page and Alex Noren were the 2 players that I felt like if the Højgaard brothers didn't make it, I felt like one of those 2 guys had a good shot. But they actually asked him, Charlie, I don't know if you saw the interview.
Yeah.
It was actually a great question, just asking about, hey, if one of the guys happen to get sick or somebody gets injured, are you going to bring your clubs with you over to Bethpage? And he said, no, I'm going to leave it up to these guys. And, I really felt like all 12 of these guys had better years than me to this point anyways. So he was pretty dismissive of that whole argument.
They have Boise State, they have Arkansas, they have USC. There's no shot in Purdue. Those are the only big games that they have the rest of the way. They're not getting back into the college football playoff. They're not, Donnie. I don't care if they've won 10 straight.
Remember when they lost to NIU? No way, no care. What happens the rest of the season? They can't get in. Who was in the college football championship last year?
But they had marquee wins at some point.
I don't care. They lost to NIU.
Sports Grid's College Football Today.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. I mean, every course is different. Every day is different. And some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. I'm like, damn.
The Smylie Show. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, I think so. You talk about how difficult it is to bring an expansion team into the league and have success in your first season. Like, that's fairly unheard of. And not only have success, but they're in the playoffs. So I think she certainly deserves to win Coach of the Year. There's a lot of different candidates that could potentially, you could make a case for them. But I think just with this being an expansion team and how difficult that is.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
It was nice to see that even though they couldn't follow the same blueprint as last season, or just the way that everyone thought their offense was going to run this year, Josh Jacobs struggled and Jordan Love stepped up. And if you're a Packer fan, that's what you were hoping to see, is that in the moments where you can't rely on the run, can the quarterback that you invested a lot of money into, now draft capital, putting weapons around him, rise to the occasion, and he did.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I did tweet out, I said, hey, if we need a 13th match or a way to divide or decide the cup, if it was tied at the very end, let's send out the captains. Let's send out Noren and let's send out Keegan Bradley, two players that are inside the top 20 of data golf that somehow aren't playing in the Ryder Cup. Well, let's just let those two guys get figured out.
I love that so much. I mean, it's pretty amazing to think that he had that extended layoff, didn't start playing competitive golf again until May. Because of the injury
I think it was hip. I think it was hip, maybe.
That sounds right to me.
Yeah.
And in data golf right now, he's the 12th ranked European in the top 12. They do their own sort of set of rankings. He's ahead of Shane Lowry, Sepp Straka, Tyrrell Hatton, Justin Rose. So for what it's worth, I mean, he definitely was in contention to make this team. But I mean, I know that he won the Betfred British Masters, and then the following week is where Rasmus finished where he needed to finish the Omega event and solidified the last spot on the team via qualifying. The rest was sort of history from there. So let's go through this team, just kind of by the best finish all the way down to the worst finish, and just kind of hit on some of these guys. So we had a group of three players who tied for fifth at 15 under. Tyrrell Hatton, who his pairing is sort of, we're just guessing on these pods, but his pairing earlier in the week was Robert McIntyre. Victor Hovland also finished tied for fifth, played with Rasmus Højgaard earlier in the week, and Matt Fitzpatrick, who played with Ludwig Oberg. What do you got for us on those three guys, Smylie?
Hatton, you said Hatton, Hovland, and who? It was
Matt Fitzpatrick. Yeah, all tied for fifth at 15 under.
Based on what, I caught the very end of the DP World Tour broadcast and just kind of listening to some of the notes of these, at least the guys up top. Well, Victor at one point definitely had the lead of the golf tournament. It felt like Victor actually was going to sneak his way to the top of this leaderboard. Didn't necessarily go super deep on the weekend, but had a good first Thursday and Friday round. Hatton putter went a little cold, is what they said, and Fitzpatrick led the field in birdies, but just had too many bogeys. So Fitzpatrick's been a guy I think it's just been trending in the right direction. Similar to Cameron Young, I think two players that I think have played their way into form that might get to play more than let's say 3 matches. I could see Fitzy playing his way maybe into another if he's able to maybe go win a match, but his Ryder Cup records has not been great. But Tyrrell Hatton has been, just solid as a rock for the most part over the last 5 years. So I expect so much out of Tyrrell this Ryder Cup, but Victor's, I think driver is my biggest question mark. Driver and putter, really. Victor's going to hit enough really good iron shots. But if he's paired with a good putter, watch out, especially in that foursome stuff. But I worry about Victor's putter in closing out some matches coming up.
The next, kind of moving down the board a little bit to 13 under, tied for 13th, Jon Rahm, who was paired with Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry to open up the week. Thoughts on Rahm? How he played this week?
Dude, what's his deal with just like backdooring good finishes, like in anything other than a live event, like majors, DP World Tour? It just seems like he's not near the top of the leaderboard as much on like Thursday, Friday, and then he just has like it's like the Xander Schauffele formula that he had for years, which is like, oh wait, Xander finished in the top 10. Well, he shot 6 under today.
He went 71, 69, 69, 66. To your point,
yeah. I'm not saying he does that every week, but
right.
Obviously a good Sunday. Same for Rory McIlroy. Eagled the last hole again. So look out for Rory making big putts on 18. He's kind of addicted to doing that in September right now. So that could be something I know Luke Donald would love to see, is making putts on that 18th hole at Bethpage, which is a crazy difficult green, really. Ludwig, solid first Thursday and Friday, but kind of tailed off on the weekend a little bit. But I feel like he's a player. Hold on one second. I'm about to sneeze.
Here we go.
First sneeze on the. Hold on. First sneeze on the pod.
Here we go. Is it coming? We doing it? Okay. I think we're clear of the sneeze now.
We're good.
No, do we dodge the sneeze?
I just fought that off. Wow.
That was impressive. Highly impressive. Yeah. How about on Rahm? This is the thing that stunned me is on the DP World Tour. The leaderboard deal online, they list the OWGR, the player in the far right column, and he has the worst world ranking of anyone on this team.
Who does?
Jon Rahm,
wow.
80th in the world. Isn't that crazy? Well, that's correct. Sorry, I was thinking that there was Sepp Straka.
Joaquin. I didn't realize Joaquin played.
Yeah, he sure did. So then, okay, let's keep going on the European team. We have Ludwig and Rory both tied for 20th at 12 under. Ludwig played with Matt Fitzpatrick. Rory McIlroy, of course, as mentioned before, played with Shane Lowry and Jon Rahm. That's on Ludwig and Rory.
Shane has had like a couple decent weeks. I mean, nothing that's been necessarily poor, nothing that's been super great. Kind of a lot like how his season's gone, which has been close to being, a little better than maybe how it's kind of turned out from a result standpoint. So you have to wonder with Shane kind of coming into this Ryder Cup, is he going to be able to get enough out of his game to take on whoever he gets paired against?
I pitched today. It's like 5 in the morning. We hammer it. He tells everyone, listen, I'm telling you guys, Esteban Loaiza is in no condition to pitch tonight. We all hammer it. We bet against the Toronto Blue Jays. We even went to the game, Scott, even. Esteban Loaiza, word of no lie, bro. He threw 8 innings, a one-hit ball.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
They trade Marina Mabry, then they turn around, and then obviously they fire Teresa Weatherspoon, and it's been a hot mess. You go and, draft Cardozo and Reese, basically 2 of the same player, meaning bigs that can't step out and shoot. So it's a little bit of a clown show when you talk about the Chicago Sky.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
He says, you can't get in a position, Tiger, Rory, Justin Thomas, those guys are this tall. You're never gonna be as flexible as them. You got a lot more leverage and you got a lot of more moving parts in those dudes.
The Smylie Show, only on SportsGrid.
I like the shadows coming in, Neyland Stadium. Show me those 3:30. Back in the day,
we played all our games on Saturdays. Maybe 1 or 2 games on a Friday night away. I always loved that. Same thing in college. Hated Friday night football games in college.
I understand why they do it prime time and we have to play. But going back to when we grew up, Keith Jackson.
Yeah.
Action.
Throw another pancake on that plate. Yeah, let's go Keith Jackson. That's my guy here.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
who's going to be the X factor with the guys with experience? Like Justin Rose has got a ton. Shane Lowry's got obviously not as much experience as Justin Rose, but not a bad week. And Rosie, I never look at Justin Rose's results in events and think that, oh man, he's not in form, he's not going to be able to turn it on. That guy, if you get him, and if he's anywhere close to dialed in, he all of a sudden turns into the Terminator.
He elevates his game more than,
his
I
ceiling
should say more than
higher.
anyone else. His ceiling is so much higher in the big events, in the majors, whenever he needs to kind of really step up and face the spotlight. He undoubtedly does it. Playoff events, obviously won one of those this year. So yeah, he had a bad Saturday this week, shot 76 on Saturday, but I don't see this as being a real issue, for him. I think he's going to just give you some very clutch veteran moments on this European team, as he always sorts to do. So you talked about Shane a little bit there. He was in that group.
Brooks Koepka missed another cut.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So how about
Billy played? Billy played.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, and I'll just so Shane and Tommy Fleetwood both finished tied for 46 at 8 under. Justin Rose tied for 61st at 6 under. How about Robert McIntyre? He missed a third round cut because there's a DP World Tour rule that if more than 84 players advance to the final round, the field can be reduced a second time to 78 players on Sunday. He was one of the 2-unders. He shot 71, 71, 72, played with Tyrrell Hatton. He is one of two players that Rasmus Højgaard missed the real cut. Rasmus Højgaard played 2 rounds. Bobby McEntee's played 3, but both those guys missed the cut. Any worries there for either of those guys?
I think Rasmus is there's a ton of question marks for him at the Ryder Cup. And I think he's got the lowest 4 of anybody playing in this Ryder Cup. Now he also has a ceiling that is higher than a good amount of players. I just have no idea what you're going to get out of him. He's a little erratic at times. He hits it much further than his brother, and I think he's much more suited to play this golf course than Nikolai is. But I still have my question marks whether his game is going to maybe carry itself to that highest level, because I think you and I both really have a ton of respect for his game. I think a lot of players do too that have played with him. He's really, especially with how strong of a player Nikolai's been over the last couple of years. Rasmus was a player that I think we just assumed wasn't quite as good as his twin brother. But really, when you look at it, it's crazy to see that to have 2 twin brothers make a Ryder Cup team, that's just, bizarre, right?
I know, like in rotating fashion, the other one, 2 years later, I think.
And you could have picked the other one.
Nikolai could have easily picked the other one. I think both these guys are, and Rasmus had a great start to the year where he was in a lot of events playing well, where Nikolai maybe wasn't either in the event or playing as well as he was. So I think that, over the course of the year, maybe he cooled off a little bit, and that's why he kind of had this late situation where he needed to qualify at the Omega, the event in Switzerland. But I think that, I share the same sort of, he's the last guy on the team in effect. Like, you knew the other 11 guys that were going to be on this team, and maybe this is not the tune-up you wanted, but, I think I don't expect him to play more than 3 sessions maybe. So you get him the right partner and a guy with some experience. I know that, did Justin Rose play with Nikolai in Rome? Do you recall who played with
Nikolai in Rome? It was
it Robert McIntyre?
Justin Rose and Bobby Mack play together.
That's right. Maybe Ludwig once. I'm trying to think. It's
man, I don't know. That's a good question.
I should have this pulled up. Yeah.
Nikolai.
Here, let's filibuster for me while I go. Here we go.
I think it was Tyrrell Hatton.
We're gonna do some live trivia here.
I think he played with Hatton. That's what I'm gonna go with.
Okay. All right. Let's see what we got. We got. He played with John Rahm. Had a match with Scottie Scheffler and Brooks Koepka. And then let's see. So
give me
that.
Hatton.
Give me Hatton. Played with Tommy Fleetwood.
Okay.
Lost to Hulme and Harmon 2-1. Played singles against Xander Schauffele and lost that match 3-2. So that was 3 sessions, half point.
Shows you what I know.
Shows you what I know too. Forget everything I said, I guess. Let's Smylie now. Let's go over to the American team at the Procore Championship, Silverado Resort in Napa, California. I love this little nugget on the eventual winner via Nick Piastowski's story on golf.com. Scottie Scheffler said he's never been to Napa, nor is he much of an imbiber of its biggest attraction. Don't really drink wine, he admitted. So that's your guy. That's your man who won. Scottie seems like he's just a beer guy, right?
It feels that way.
It feels that way. Feels that way. This man just wants an ice cold beer anytime he can get in his hand. Start at the top of the list, guys. We open the show discussing Scottie Scheffler, Ben Griffin, 1 and 2 on this leaderboard. Some of the discussion that we saw after the fact was, does this create any sort of seeds of doubt about Ben Griffin's ability to close? It was effectively a match play type situation. Do you worry anything at all about that after the 3-putt on the 18th hole on Sunday?
No, my only takeaway from this is that how can you find a way to get Ben Griffin in foursomes? That's my biggest question. Is how can you get the golf ball that he plays into foursomes? Like, who can play the max fly ball? Because he has proven to me that he needs to be out in that first session Friday morning. He's proven it time and time and again that it doesn't matter the stage. He's going like his. I know we keep on talking floor and ceilings, but so much of this is important because you want to know a guy's not going to go out and shoot. I guess in foursomes, it's hard to really know score wise, but something that would be considered an over par performance. Like Ben Griffin's going to go out and at least be even or better in whatever his shot value is, that is good enough to win matches. Like you can play average and win matches. You could play good and lose matches in Ryder Cup, but I sure as heck wouldn't have Ben Griffin sitting that Friday morning.
So that's a huge takeaway, really, where it's like he's got to go out first in this thing. I mean,
I think so.
Group of 8, yeah.
He's there's just too big a sample size this year, and he just has not played poorly. I don't like. Maybe it'll happen Friday morning at the Ryder Cup, but he's got experience winning the Zurich Classic this year, and also in a very similar format with 4-ball, and also I know it's not exactly the same alternate shot style, is it? Because it's the modified thing, right? You hit your drive and they both hit it. Is that? Are they both hit tee shots? Is it actually alternate shot? Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's effectively in effect the same format there as it is for the Ryder Cup. Yeah.
Well, there you go. He's got experience winning on the PGA Tour this year in that awkward format.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I agree just on form alone. I mean, if this is, I'll be curious to as we get to the end of this list or get through this list to see if there are any guys you feel like not necessarily play their way out of an appearance in that morning session on Friday, but just guys that have a little bit of work to do to convince Keegan that they're ready to be one of those guys. It feels like Ben Griffin now is at the front of that line, right? So
I think JJ Spawn has played his way into that morning session. I think JT
finished sixth this week.
I think JT and Morikawa, this was their audition to play Friday morning. And I think both guys, I think you go look at their stats, go look at, how they've been playing relative to their score and stats. I just don't see how either of them go out Friday morning.
Yeah. I mean, so Colin Morikawa ties for 43rd at 5 under. Justin Thomas finishes 69th at 1 over. Colin Morikawa, we talked about this a lot on the show, just a season of change of a lot of things. Another new putter in play this week. He has it's a TaylorMade Spider Tour V. It is center shafted with a single dot sight, but it's important to know that it is not a zero torque putter, despite the fact that it's center shafted. So he says he's been doing a lot of work on it. I'm sure he and Stephen Sweeney have been working hard on it. I trust that, he's as prepared as he will be, but it's, it's just, it's a putter change that we're seeing for the first time 2 weeks before they're playing the Ryder Cup. I mean, I don't know how you feel about it. It feels like you feel the same way about Colin you feel about JT. These guys are probably not going to play in that opening Friday morning session.
I don't think so. Maybe they will, and one of them will definitely have to play a little bit above how they have been playing. Not to say that they didn't have good results at any point in the end of the season. JT played really well at the Tour Championship, but it's a fairly open ballpark. So is Bethpage. You can kind of get away with some misses. Where I think JT, this is a good track for him to be able to go kind of manage some misses. And I think what was concerning this week is that his iron game was so poor.
Outside of Portrush, hard to imagine how it gets any better in terms of an individual year for Rory McIlroy. Just such good stuff from him.
Oh, totally. It's, it's kind of wild to me. You just go through that incredible list of venues that he's won at, and then, of course, throw in the Irish Open to be the fourth. It is hard to believe that he has not won since April. And we talk about this incredible year that he's had.
The Smylie Show, only on SportsGrid.
Who wants to go to Chicago in February for a Super Bowl? Hey, the NFL can host outdoor parties on Lake Michigan. Stop the madness at this point. But now I take a look at the Denver Broncos. Always fun in the Mile High City. Why? Because what a home field advantage. It's at elevation. It's going to be cold. It might snow, and Denver's going to have that advantage. You know what Denver goes? We're going to build a world-class facility that's going to be a dome.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
It's easy to just look at, okay, what did they do well this week? Well, that's kind of what I'm looking at. We can look at the entire year, how they're hitting it or how they're putting it and how they're chipping it. It's totally different grasses, how they're going to play this week versus Bethpage. But still, this is as close as we're going to get to the Ryder Cup and what their form is going to be. So I think it's fair to look at this and be like, okay, well, can these, Keegan was watching all week. He's got the same stats that we're looking at,
Right.
And so I don't know. I think that I would be surprised at this point to see JT or Morikawa go out in the morning. Doesn't mean that they're not going to have good Ryder Cups. Just means that they either need to play well in the practice to have all the vice captains say, like, dude, this guy's really turned around. He's playing way better. He's figured it out. I think there's going to be a lot of that. And I think the U.S. team's probably going to have to find a couple of those guys to play their way into, hey, dude, this guy's like really kind of got it to click. Or if not, they need to be concerned.
So if you feel like, and let's just make a list now. We got Scottie, Scheffler, Ben Griffin, JJ Spawn. There are 3 of the 8 that you feel like are going to go out on Friday morning. And then Bryson and Xander, I feel like those guys are close to locks, right? So that's 5. So let me give you the list of the remaining players of. So Cam Young finished tied for 9th this week. Then you had Sam Burns tied for 13th, Russell Henley tied for 19th, Patrick Cantlay tied for 30th, and Harris English.
Yeah,
Cantley's in with Xander. Cantlay, Harris, Henley. There you go. So you have Sam Burns, Cam Young, Colin Morikawa, and Justin Thomas sitting.
I think you could flip flop Cam Young and Harris. That would be the one, because Harris doesn't have any foursomes experience, so I could see that I could see Cam going out too.
And Harris probably didn't have the week he'd like to, was didn't break 70 at all, 72, 70, 71, 70. So I mean, not to say I think he putted better than the majority of the field. So that's a nice, potential pairing strength. But I agree with what you're saying, especially with Cam Young once again.
Yeah. So Sam, Morikawa, JT, and Harris, I think, are the 4 that'll sit.
Sam, Morikawa, JT, and Harris. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's my guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, Cam again, good approach play. Putting was above average. That putting was so good.
I like all 4 of the guys in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It's so important to get off to a good start.
Yeah.
And not to say that Harris, I feel the best about of all 4 of those guys to go out in the foursomes.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We're obviously gonna continue to preview this thing, and do it with the help of our friends at Johnny Walker. So we appreciate getting in the spirit of the cup here on the Smylie Show. Smylie, one more to take us out on the Procore is one guy who is not on this Ryder Cup team, but likely will be on a team in the future. How about Jackson Koiven? Ties for 4th, playing in the final group with Ben Griffin, 16 under. Fresh off winning 3 points for Team USA at the Walker Cup at Cypress Point. He just in this last couple of months alone, ties for 5th at the Wyndham in August, ties for 6th at the ISCO, ties for 11th at the John Deere in July, and then has this T4 this week. He's made 6 of 7 PGA Tour cuts this year, 3 top 10s, 2 top 5s. And I went to the PGA Tour U Accelerated site, Smylie. I think they stopped tabulating his stats once he got his card. I think he might have like 30 PGA Tour U Accelerated points at this point in time. It's truly unbelievable stuff. I mean, how good is this from Jackson this week?
Well, I thought he was going to Nick Dunlap it real quick. If there was a time to win a PGA Tour event, it would be right as the semester got started. And just a quick heads up here, guys, we got Jackson Koiven coming on the show here very quickly. In fact, we interviewed him before this Procore championship, sat down with him for about 20 minutes ahead of this tournament. And I asked him some questions a little bit about, his year he's had, the Walker Cup, and, what it would take for him, just with a decision, how settled he was in not turning pro and playing college golf. And I had this odd feeling this week, Charlie, that Jackson was going to have a chance to win this golf tournament. I said it to you before, and then I just kept on sending screenshots throughout the week. And little we know, he's in the final pairing with Ben Griffin on Sunday. Just incredible. The kid's got moxie. He's got everything you want. He's a 5-tool player, man, and he's obviously good enough to play on the PGA Tour right now. The only thing that I wonder is Nick Dunlap told us this, and I wonder if this got fixed. A top 10 doesn't apply to him, correct? Like for him if he wanted to go play in Jackson, that doesn't get him into Jackson, correct?
They said it on the broadcast as he was finishing. They said it like he was in.
I know Kurt
Sanderson,
said that,
but Sanderson.
But we learned from Luke Clanton that was something that was not the case. So I wonder if we'll see him in Jackson next week. There's no way, dude. He's played Walker. He's got to go to school at some point.
That's literally. I was going to say that is. I forget if he said this in the interview.
We talked about it in the pod.
We talked about it in the pod. Yeah. Like basically, his biggest issue right now in his life is getting PGA Tour events counted as excused absences at Auburn University. I mean, it's literally. Maybe a top 5 on a PGA Tour event will help with some teachers. I don't know, but it's and I wonder. I mean, do you think at what point does he start reconsidering his decision? And can he? That's something I'd love to look into as well. Is like, can you just cash that card anytime you want to?
I mean, what has he played his way up to from a world ranking standpoint?
That's a great question.
Like, is that updated yet? Do we have an updated world ranking?
I don't know. We'll have it for this week, but we can certainly have it for last week. All right. I'm going to look for you all. He's not in the top 100. So there you go there.
That'd be crazy. Has there ever been a college kid who's in the top 100 in the world? That would have been interesting if so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Clan was at one point before he was still an amateur. He was like 93rd. He's 262. But that's not updated for this week. So he should move up.
T4. Yeah, it'll be in the top 200. Well, gosh, I think everybody, when they listen to the interview with Jackson, they can make their own, their own decisions based off what they hear from Jackson. But it seems like to me, like if you just watch him play, the kid has it all. He's got the overall game to be able to go out and turn pro now. He's got a caddy that he's worked with multiple times this year. There's a lot of comfort there. But he does have some goals he wants to chase. But, I asked him a question about, hey, what else do you want to achieve in the amateur game? And that's, I think, a fair question to ask for somebody, he hasn't done like Tiger-like stuff where he's won the U.S. Juniors and the U.S. AMs and stuff. So there's plenty more to do, but still, there's a lot to like about Jackson Koiven and his very young, promising amateur / potentially professional career coming up.
Look at the weather, try to look for some anytime touchdowns or maybe some props that you really feel confident about. But it's always the time for urgency, especially for a team like the New York Giants. I think that defense is something that can give Giants fans hope. And then if you get Dart under center, it's hope. And then if you can get Scottie out there and the whole building's going boo, it's hope. And as we know, hope works.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
If you're in the Super Bowl market, if you're in the futures market, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is heavily connected to the Kansas City Chiefs. I am sure it would be Tyreek's first place if he could pick to go back to. At least I would think it would be. And the Chiefs have a need, and the Chiefs are interested, and they're not worried about any of his other question marks.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Oh, Johnny, then you don't believe in face recognition, do you? Because I can assure you. Oh, yes, they do. They absolutely do. They will find that guy in a heartbeat. And by the way, why would you want to go to Vegas? You want to talk about facial red? They won't let you step in a casino. They won't let you step anywhere in
The
there.
Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
There's a little bit of a kerfluffle earlier today when there's an exception taken to a putt that wasn't given, and just the reactions were pretty unilateral from both sides of like, hey, that's not behavior that we're going to tolerate at this type of competition.
Can you talk to me about kerfluffle again? Can you run that word back? I've never heard that word before.
The Smylie Show, only on SportsGrid.
It's a nice appetizer. I'm saying like just the perfect, what's your go-to appetizer that you see on the menu that you're just like, yep, that is that is it. And I feel like that's what we got with the DP World Tour and the Procore event.
It was perfect. Yeah. I mean, what's a go-to appetizer? I'm trying to think of what mine, it kind of changes on cuisine. I did have some of your Conecuh sausage redneck charcuterie this weekend at the tailgate. So that's top of mind right now. But you're exactly right.
You're looking at the menu and you just think, okay, this is my favorite appetizer to order at a restaurant. So maybe not quite serving in your own home or, expecting to eat at somebody else's home. One that you get on a menu, you say, yep, that's the one every time.
I mean, isn't that cuisine dependent?
It can be. If it's obvious that if you're Mexican restaurant, you're going to go like chips and guac, chips and queso, chips and salsa.
Are you a queso or guac guy?
Queso. Yeah.
Also queso.
Yeah.
Married to a guac woman. Tough for me. Got to make a lot of decisions every time we order chips. Yeah.
That sucks. I hate that for you.
Yeah.
That is, Amanda's got amazing qualities, a lot of them, but that's one that we got to question.
She's a guac person. Look, it is what it is.
But I will say, sometimes a really good guac outkicks an average queso.
I agree with that. Queso
Are you there with me there?
I'm 100% with you there, because queso is usually the safest option in terms of just overall deliciousness. It's melted cheese. I mean, it's about as good as you can get. It's hard to mess up. You throw little spices in it, that's fantastic. Guac can vary greatly because it's all what are you doing with the avocados once you've scooped them out? And Amanda actually, coincidentally, makes a fantastic guac. So it's nice when you do a little homemade action, a little bit of lemon, some seasonings. But you can get a bad guac at a restaurant. You can get an overdone guac. They're trying to make it too crazy.
So I'll say that us Kaufmans, we love a good experience. And if I see the guy at the table as we walk in making the guac tableside, done. All in. It doesn't matter if cases on the menu. I am all in on a good experience. You know, I want to know how long this guy's been making the guac, what's his secret, the way he does it, because I want to try to go do it at home to replicate how good this guy's guac is. That's something that needs to be said as well.
Tableside guac is great marketing. It's showing me visually, hey, you got to have this thing. It's happening all here right in front of you. It's as fresh as it's going to get. Honestly, I'll go guac and queso at a restaurant like that just to see what the deal is. If they're serving guac that good, the queso's got to be good as well. So
Fran says like one of my worst qualities is that I am very bad about ordering the second queso right before our food shows up. She says that typically I just rip through that first thing of queso, and then all of a sudden I'm like, gosh, I really could use like a couple more bites of queso. And so, this is right around the time I'm ordering either that second beer or second margarita. So everything just feels like it's making sense. Next thing you know, the queso comes out. You got the next drink that comes out. Meanwhile, here come the fajitas, and you're thinking to yourself, "What? Who wins this battle? Where do I go next?" Because now we have a triangle that needs every bit of attention and detail.
This is how I know that this partnership works for us. Is that I've just learned you're also a fajitas guy. Fajitas is
Francie's much more of the fajitas person in our family than I am, but I am settling in on my go-to order at our Mexican joint, and it has like fajita steak, fajita chicken, but it's not necessarily like, hey, I want the fajitas. You got to kind of order. It's like a specialty thing you order at our place, so it makes you feel important. Maybe it's not quite the sizzling smoke that comes out where you kind of feel like you smell like it the rest of the night, but you still get the the good stuff.
I just like you're bringing me all your freshest ingredients hot, and you're letting me make some calls to how I want to assemble it. That's what I love about fajitas. So
doesn't it kind of scare you though with kids at the table when they got that hot skillet that comes out and things just sizzling a little bit, and it's obviously the wind of the smoke that is just absolutely just wailing on everybody.
You know what? I hadn't really. I think I'm just now realizing I don't know that I've been to a proper fajitas joint since we've had kids. So I don't know that I'm able to try it. So this is something that I guess I got to report back, Smylie. I think we just did like 6 minutes on Mexican food, which is, amazing. Love Mexican food.
Next week we're going to break down our favorite appetizer at a Greek restaurant, and we're just going to continue to hit every single, cultural dining place that we possibly can. Italian the following week, Americano the next, and here we are. We're just gonna have everybody hungry.
It was not so many months ago that I was tomatoed off the stage for giving out recipes during a one and done pick segment on our Instagram Live. So I'm just glad that we've come to this level of acceptance for food items.
They have Boise State, they have Arkansas, they have USC. There's no shot in Purdue. Those are the only big games that they have the rest of the way. They're not getting back into the college football playoff. They're not, Donnie. I don't care if they've won 10 straight.
Remember when they lost to NIU? No way, no care. What happens the rest of the season? They can't get in. Who was in the college football championship last year?
But they had marquee wins at some point.
I don't care. They lost to NIU.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. Every course is different. Every day is different. And some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. I'm like, damn.
The Smylie Show. Only on SportsGrid.
mean, I think so. You talk about how difficult it is to bring an expansion team into the league and have success in your first season. Like, that's fairly unheard of. And not only have success, but they're in the playoffs. So I think she certainly deserves to win Coach of the Year. There's a lot of different candidates that could potentially, you could make a case for them. But I think just with this being an expansion team and how difficult that is.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
It was nice to see that even though they couldn't follow the same blueprint as last season or just the way that everyone thought their offense was going to run this year, Josh Jacobs struggled and Jordan Love stepped up. And if you're a Packer fan, that's what you were hoping to see, is that in the moments where you can't rely on the run, can the quarterback that you invested a lot of money into, now draft capital, putting weapons around him, rise to the occasion, and he did.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.